via WebEx. Joining me for this meeting are board members Charles Nottingham, Darrin Sobin, Melissa Tucker, and board member Smith is in the process of logging in. Together, excuse me, together we constitute a quorum for this meeting. Since it was first posted, the meeting agenda has not been changed in any way. So would one of the board members please give us a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll offer the motion that we adopt the agenda for today's meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been
Hey, I'm
moved.
just folks, I'm sorry, I'm just testing my mic. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda for today's meeting. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted for today. Before us today are the minutes from the draft minutes from the November 3rd board meeting. And if we could take a minute to review those and then I'll entertain a motion to adopt those.
I'll offer the motion that we adopt the minutes from the November meeting.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that the board consider the approval of the November 3rd, 2022 meeting minutes. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm going to recuse myself since I missed that meeting. I wasn't able to attend.
Okay, understood. We're still waiting for board member Smith to log on, but we've got a motion and a second. So all in favor, I think we already voted. So the three of us who are here are agreed to approve those minutes. Is there any opposition? That's everyone. Next on the agenda is the meeting schedule for 2023. And the board usually meets on the first Thursday at noon. For the months of June, July, and September, this would result on a holiday weekend. So is there any suggestion that we move those meetings to the second Thursday?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
That would be for clarification that we're talking about 3 meetings, 3 different months, or 2.
Just for 3 meetings, just for June, July, and September.
So instead of meeting Thursday, for example, June 1st, we would the proposal will be to meet Thursday, June 8th.
Right.
And then similarly,
I can give you the exact dates.
Thursday, July 13th, and Thursday, August 10th. Is that correct?
Okay. Yeah. So instead of June 1st, it would be June 8th. Instead of July 6th, it would be July 13th. And instead of September 7th, it would be September 14th.
That sounds good to me. I'd be happy to approve if you need that in approval, but those dates are good for me.
Yeah, I guess we need a motion to meet on the first Thursday, with the exception of those 3 dates when we meet on the second Thursday.
All right, I'll go ahead and offer the motion that in calendar year 2023 for the months of June, July, and September, that the board meets on the second Thursday of the month, and on all the other months, we meet during the regular first Thursday of the month.
Second. Okay, great. All in favor of approving the meeting schedule for 2023, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the board approves the meeting schedule for 2023 as stated.
If someone could send that out ASAP, I can get it on my calendar for the year. I'd appreciate it.
We'll make sure we do that. Okay, next on the agenda is a report from the Office of Open Government. Director Niquelle Allen will provide the report on behalf of the office, and she is appearing virtually via WebEx. So Director Allen, please proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I am Niquelle Allen, Director of Open Government. I am pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Open Government, or OOG. Since the last board meeting, OOG has continued to fulfill its mission of ensuring that all persons receive full and complete information regarding the affairs of the District of Columbia government and the actions of those who represent them. I'll start with Open Meetings Act and Freedom of Information Act advice rendered by the office. The first item is advisory opinions. On November 14th, 2022, I issued number OOG-2021-004-M concerning Calvin Coolidge High School Local School Advisory Team's Coolidge LSATs compliance with the Open Meetings Act. The anonymous complaint alleged that the Coolidge LSAT violated the Open Meetings Act by failing to provide a location or link for the public to view its monthly meetings, failing to provide the public records of its meetings, and failing to notify the public when it entered into closed sessions during its meetings. I found that the Coolidge LSAC did violate the OMA because it failed to provide timely and accurate notice to the public on its website of its May 2021 meetings and on the OOG central meeting calendar. And it also failed to provide a meeting link, a telephone number, or reasonable accommodations for the public to remotely attend its May 2021 meetings or record its May 2021 meetings by electronic means. On November 28th, 2022, I issued number OOG-2022-009-M resolution of a complaint ANC dismissing an Open Meetings Act complaint filed against two advisory neighborhood commissioners. As the board knows, DC Official Code Section 2-5743F specifically includes ANCs from the definition of public bodies and the Open Meetings Act statutory meeting requirements. Due to allegations of theft of government funds, the matter was referred to the Office of the Inspector General. Copies of these opinions are in the Dropbox. The next item are the Informal Open Meetings Act and Freedom of Information Act advice rendered by the office. Since the last board meeting, OOG responded informally via email or telephone to requests for assistance as follows. OOG responded to 4 requests for Open Meetings Act advice, 6 requests for FOIA advice, and 23 requests for technical assistance with the website open-dc.gov. Remote meeting monitoring. OOG attorneys attend remote meetings to ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act and inspect public bodies' website and the OOG central meeting calendar for public meeting notices and records. We provide legal advice on Open Meetings Act compliance and take corrective action if necessary. During November 2022, OOG attended 4 remote public body meetings. As a result of monitoring, 2 instances of written corrective measures occur. The public meeting notice was incomplete and the public body lacked an administrative point of contact. The Open Meeting Act requires timely posting of meeting notices, and that's pursuant to DC Official Code 2-5765 and 3 DCMR Section 10410. The next item I'll report on is our training and outreach activity. The first is the 2022 AINS Annual Summit and User Conference. On November 3rd, 2022, Chief Counsel Barton and Attorney Weil attended the AINS Annual Summit, Good Enough for Government Isn't Good Enough. Data from the conference revealed FOIA complaints have resulted in the following for the federal government: 46,000 FOIA appeals from 2019 through 2021, 600 FOIA lawsuits filed in 2021, $120 million in litigation fees from 2020 to 2021, and $40 million in 2021. Chief Counsel Barton attended Track A, Building Trust in Public Institution. Track A included multiple sessions focused on FOIA and how to utilize FOIA Express. Attorney Weil attended the keynote address, Preparing Government Professionals for the Workforce of the Future. Second item is Open Meetings Act training for District of Columbia Public Charter School Board of Trustees or Board of Trustees. On November 17th, 2022, the OLG moved forward with our initiative to offer Open Meetings Act trainings to the Board of Trustees and other school personnel. OOG offered 2 training sessions on the basics of the Open Meetings Act. Attorney Weil provided the first training on OMA training for new board members and staff. The training was tailored to address issues and concern of new board members and staff. The training also included practical advice for ensuring OMA compliance and common issues of noncompliance that public bodies may face. The training was well received by attendees. I, along with OOG legal staff, attended the training. Chief Counsel Barton presented the second training, the OMA refresher course for returning board members and staff. The training consisted of an OMA presentation that included questions and answers for active participation among the attendees. I, along with Attorney Weil and Paralegal Brown, attended the training. DIFS expense entry training. On November 22nd, I, along with Chief Counsel Barton and Attorney DeBerry, attended DIFS expense training facilitated by Emmanuel Chijuba of the Office of Government Ethics. The training included instruction on the aspects of the financial system that DC government employees must use to enter travel expenses into the DIFS system. Second to last item is the meeting with the DC Open Government Coalition. On November 28th, 2022, Chief Counsel Barton and I met with Fritz Mulhauser of the DC Open Government Coalition, or the Coalition. We met to discuss issues of concern to the Coalition with respect to FOIA legislation and record retention. With respect to FOIA, the Coalition would like to see DC government employees' obligation under FOIA be expressly included in the comprehensive code of conduct that the board recommends to the mayor, attorney general, and the DC council. Chief among the coalition's concerns are the digitization of district government records, the failure of adjudicatory bodies of the district to publish its written opinions online. He specifically mentioned the Office of Contract Appeals and the Office of Administrative Hearings. We committed to continue to advocate for transparency within our authority over FOIA matters. The last item is the meeting with the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commissioners. On November 29th, 2022, Director Cooks and I met with the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commissioners regarding ethics and FOIA training. We also met virtually the new Executive Director, Ken Boace. The OANCs will be providing training for new ANCs this month, and Bega may provide ethics and FOIA training during this session or provide it separately very soon. The next item on my report are the litigation and legislation update. Litigation. There is one case update this month about the exemption of congressional records from federal FOIA, and under the speech and debate clause, no common law right of access to congressional records. As I reported last month, radio host Robert Schilling sued the U.S. House of Representatives and several of its officers for denying his demand for certain records. Through USC Section 5 USC Section 552 does not apply to Congress, the plaintiff asserted a common law right of public access. The district court granted the defendant's motion to dismiss because of the speech and debate clause. On November 1st, 2022, the plaintiff appealed. The notice of appeal, the Court of Appeals scheduling order, and the docket sheets are in Dropbox. Under legislation, there are 2 items. The Post-Public Health Emergency Protections Extension Amendment Act of 2022 and the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability Delinquent Debt Recovery Amendment Act of 2022. I have reported on these measures before. On October 31st, 2022, the mayor signed these acts and they were transmitted to Congress on November 7th, 2022 to begin the 30-day review period. The signed acts are in Dropbox. The last item in legislation, second to last, I did that twice, is the Back to School Safety Acts of 2022. Under this legislation, the District of Columbia Public Schools, or DCPS, and the Department of General Services are required to present bi-monthly briefings to the council and its staff for each school operated by DCPS with respect to 1, the percentage of exterior doors with locks that securely lock, 2, the percentage of interior doors with locks that securely lock, 3, the condition of the school's public address system, 4, the condition of the school's fire alarm system, and 5, the condition of the school's security surveillance system. The impact relevant to DC FOIA and the Open Meetings Act are as follows. Under Section 103 of each of the acts, data from the bi-monthly briefings shall not be shared over electronic communication channels or posted publicly. School safety system data from the briefings that is retained by the council or any executive agency shall not be made available as a public record under Section 202 of DC FOIA, and briefings themselves are exempt from the Open Meetings Act. An initial emergency version of the act expired on October 25th, 2022. A congressional review emergency version became law without the mayor's signature on November 1st, 2022, and will expire on January 30th, 2023. A temporary version was transmitted for congressional review on October 20th, 2022. The enacted enrollments are in Dropbox. Revised Criminal Code Act of 2022. On November 15th, 2022, the council passed through final reading a comprehensive update of DC criminal law, including a revised criminal code. Of particular relevance to OOG subject matters are the following provisions. FOIA, permissible holding of body-worn camera footage related to stalking, including electronic stalking or sexual assault, permissive withholding of responsive plans or specific vulnerability assessments intended to prevent or mitigate not just an act of terrorism, which already existed as Exemption 10, but material support for an act of terrorism. For the Open Meetings Act, adopting a new crime, Class D misdemeanor, of first-degree public nuisance for publicly causing significant interruption to the orderly conduct of a meeting by a district or federal public body. The engrossed version, which will be identical to the finally passed version because the council adopted no intervening amendments, is in Dropbox. OOG will continue to monitor this measure through the review period. The Medical Examiner Records Privacy Amendment Act of 2021, 2022. On November 3rd, 2022, the Council's Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety reported out Bill 24-0203, now named the Medical Examiner Records Privacy Amendment Act of 2022. This bill would provide that the chief medical examiner records contained in external examination and autopsy records is a public record under DC FOIA as to certain biographical information, but permit persons to directly obtain an external examination or autopsy report from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner without those persons being required to make a request for records under DC FOIA. However, the bill would also designate certain photographs, negatives, videos, prints, and other images as confidential and only subject to disclosure in limited circumstances. On November 15th, the council passed this bill through first reading. The committee report is in Dropbox, and the latest version of the measure is in the attachment that starts on page 70 of the file. OOG will continue to monitor this legislation. The council meets again on Tuesday, December 6th. The last item in my report are administrative matters. FY24 budget presentation. On November 17th, 2023, I, along with Director Cooks and Chief of Staff Mitchell, presented Bega's proposed FY24 budget to the Office of the City Administrator. We advocated for several budget enhancements to enable Bega to execute its program in accordance to our statutory mandates. The budget presentation was sent to you via email for your review. Bega, 1030 15th Street, Northwest relocation. Every Friday, I, along with Director Cooks and Chief of Staff Mitchell, meet with the Department of General Services to discuss the progress of the agency's relocation to its new facility at 1030 15th Street Northwest. This month, we continue to discuss and firm up plans for the internet drops in the facility and the design and layout of the suites. We discussed the hearing room, which will be formatted to be nearly identical to the 441 4th Street Northwest facility. The target date for completion of the project is July-August 2023. New Office of Open Government Attorney. I am pleased to announce that Anthony Scarborough will begin working with the Office of Open Government as attorney advisor on December 5th, 2022. Mr. Scarbo is a graduate of UDC Law and formerly served this office as a legal intern. I look forward to introducing him to the board at the January 2023 meeting. This concludes the Office of Open Government's December 1st report. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have at this time.
Director Allen, are there any questions for Director Allen?
I have a question about the Coolidge advisory opinion. It seemed to me that all the events took place in 2021, but we issued this now in 2022. What happened in the intervening period?
It seems that LSAT has disbanded, or they have not been operating at all. The last time they went on to their website, didn't see any activity. We were waiting as part of our investigation for them to reassemble that LSAT, and it did not happen. So we just decided to go ahead and issue the advisory opinion. So as of the issuance of the advisory opinion, they still have not assembled a local school advisory team for that school.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one question about the new office space. You said the boardroom would be pretty much like it is at 441. Does that mean we still have to walk through your office to get to the?
No.
Okay.
You all should have your own. You will have your own space, your own kind of that space that is now my office will be returned to you. So you all will have your own conference room and workspace, so to speak, in the new facility. So it will look like how it was originally designed before we grew as an office. So yes, so it's the hearing room, and then there's a room for you all to assemble. I guess if you want to have executive meetings there, or just have just a break room, I guess, so to speak. And then there's office, little mini office suites over to the side, if you need to come in and do work. So it's I should say it's an improved version of what we have now.
Okay, yeah, that concerned me. Not for us so much, but because for you. I mean,
yes. So I will be somewhere else.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there are no other questions for Director Allen, next on the agenda, also via WebEx, we'll hear from Director Ashley Cooks, who's the Director of the Office of Office of Government Ethics. Director Cooks.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I'm Ashley Cooks, the Director of Government Ethics. I'm pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Government Ethics, OGE. First is an update on the status of OGE operations. The information reported today regarding OGE's cases will not reflect any status changes that may occur as a result of actions taken by the board during today's meeting. First are open investigations by status. We have 54 investigations that are open, one matter that is pending negotiations, for a grand total of 55 open investigations. Next are undocketed matters. We have 2 matters that are undocketed. Pending state investigations by status. We have 27 matters that are closed pending collection, 5 matters that are stayed pending DC Superior Court case, 6 matters stayed for OAG False Claims Act case, 5 matters stayed for OIG investigation, and 1 matter stayed for U.S. District Court case, for a grand total of 44 pending and state investigations. Next are regulatory matters by status. We have 29 matters that are closed pending collection, 5 matters that are open, for a grand total of 34 matters. Again, we currently have 55 open investigations and 7 investigations that are stayed. The number of open preliminary and formal investigations includes 6 new matters. The investigative team resolved 8 investigations since the board last met. This total does not reflect the number of complaints that were dismissed for a lack of jurisdiction. Next are trainings and outreach. First, professional development trainings attended by staff. During the month of November, Bega employees who intend to travel for trainings and conferences completed the travel approval and reimbursement training through the District Integrated Financial System, DIFS. Several OGE employees took this training in anticipation of the 4th Annual Conference of Council on Governmental Ethics Laws, COGL, which will take place in Montreal, Canada next week, December 4th through the 7th. General Counsel Raj completed the mandatory DC government cybersecurity training course. All employees must complete this course by the end of the calendar year. Program Specialist Kosick took the following training courses. Number 1, LRM Bulk Load Manager Training. Number 2, Capturing, Analyzing, and Using Project Lessons Learned. 3, Critical Thinking, Challenging Assumptions. And 4, Collaborating Effectively in Excel 365. Auditor Emmanuel Tajuba took the following trainings. Expert Insight on Developing as a Leader, Expert Insights on Delegation, Expert Insights on Motivating People, and Expert Insights on Trust. Investigator Ileana Corrales took 2 courses, Overcoming Your Own Unconscious Biases and Planning Your Growth as a Leader. For trainings conducted by staff, since the November board meeting, OGE conducted 3 trainings: the November monthly ethics training, the November brown bag session, and the first of 2 specific ethics trainings for the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. This first session with DEMPAD had 58 attendees, including the Deputy Mayor, General Counsel, and Legislative Director. The second session will be held on December 14th. Last week before the holiday, OGE hosted our monthly Ethics Council brown bag session on gifts. Supervisory Attorney Stuart Mitchell and General Counsel Rashid Raj provided the Ethics Councils with a few holiday-themed hypotheticals. Several Ethics Councils attended and engaged in meaningful discussion. Our next brown bag session will take place next year on Monday, January 30th. The topic will be the latest advisory opinions and dispositions. During November, 24 employees completed the online ethics training via PeopleSoft. Since the launch of the learning management system, 354 employees have completed 712 learning modules. In this past month, 13 new users have completed 25 courses. Supervisory Attorney Stuart Mitchell, Program Specialist Kozik, and I continue to meet with our LRN Program Manager to discuss ways to optimize the system and increase employee registration. Auditor Tajuba conducted a DIF expense entry training on November 22nd. Employees from both offices attended the training. The session focused on gaining access to the DIF system, requesting free travel payments, and submitting expense reports for reimbursement of travel expenses. The training was extremely informative. Next is outreach. OGE and OOG continue to meet with the Office of the Chief Technology Officer's website development staff to coordinate the Bega website refresh. We're currently working on changes to the website design so that information is readily available with minimal search efforts. We submitted an updated site map of the website in early and approved the mock-up of the website design. Still has imaged our current website, and we're working on language and images for each new web page. Next is the Office of the Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner. As Director Allen stated, we met with the new Executive Director, Mr. Kent Bowles, as well as his staff. We discussed providing ethics and 4-year training to newly elected commissioners, as well as training for current commissioners to fulfill their annual training requirements. We also discussed Bega's jurisdiction over commissioners and their obligations under the Code of Conduct. I assured Director Bowles of Bega's mission to educate commissioners on the ethics rules and to take enforcement action when a commissioner violates the rules. Both Bega and the Office of the ANC are committed to ensuring that they adhere to the district's ethics standards. Next is an update on advisory opinions and advice. First is informal advice. OGE's legal staff provided advice for approximately 41 ethics inquiries, which is 6 more than 35 reported at the last board. This number does not include responses we provided to questions regarding the lobbyist and FPS systems. For formal advice, OGE's sua sponte advisory opinion, guidance on the local Hatch Act and fundraising activities has completed its 30-day public comment period. provides guidance on maintaining ethical standards while engaging in political activity and clarifies prohibited and permissible fundraising activities. It covers permissible fundraising activities such as fundraising for one's own campaign, fundraising for a partisan non-district regulated campaign, and the designation rule. The opinion was posted on our website as a draft on September 23rd, but due to technical issues, it was not posted in the register until a later date. Pursuant to DC Official Code Section 1-1162.19B, the opinion will be published in the register as a final version. Next are legislation updates. I only have one, and it is Bill 24-0706, Board of Ethics and Government Accountability, Delinquent Debt Amendment Act of 2022. This bill will allow Bega to discretionarily transfer delinquent debts associated with settlements and judgments for ethics and Open Meeting Act violations to the district's central collection unit, and for the funds collected on Bega's behalf to be deposited into the Ethics Fund and OMA Fund instead of the General Fund. The additional will allow Bega to supplement its operating budget. I'm pleased to announce that the projected effective date for the bill will be December 21st. It is currently under congressional review. A copy of the committee report was placed in the Dropbox for your review. Next are OGE administrative matters. First is OGE staffing. The attorney advisor and program support assistant vacancy announcements closed in October. Both sets of applications are under review. As an approved FY23 budget enhancement request, OGE received funding to hire a supervisory investigator. That position will be posted in the next few weeks. The fiscal year 2022 performance evaluations and formulation of fiscal year 2023 performance plans have been completed. Next steps are mid-year reviews will take place in March 2023. Next is an update on the budget. The agency finalized its fiscal year 2024 budget package on November 17th. Both Director Allen, I, and Chief of Staff Mitchell submitted our budget enhancement request and provided a presentation to the Office of the Budget and Performance Management. The budget enhancement request includes funding for 2 legal fellows, a public information officer, senior IT specialist, upgrades to the lobbyist e-filing system and OOG website, OOG employee retention, and additional funding for the non-personal services fund. And the last in this section is the office relocation update. Nothing really additional to add to what Director Allen stated, but we are meeting with the construction team on a weekly basis. We recently discussed the technological needs for internet access and wiring for the space. And due to delays in Octo services, the construction team has postponed our move-in date until July 2023. Next are financial disclosure statement updates, FDS. On October 14th, the FDS team sent notices to all DC council members informing them that their biannual financial disclosure report is due on November 15th. All of the council members filed in a timely manner with the exception of one extension request. In October, the FDS team discovered that the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice did not provide a list of filers for the calendar year 2021. When the FDS team contacted the agency, they responded in kind by providing a list of 8 current and former employees. The FDS team provided notice to those filers, setting December 5th, 2022 as a deadline to file. To date, 3 of the 8 employees have filed. On November 30th, 2022, yesterday, the FDS team met to discuss requiring confidential filers to use the FDS e-filing system instead of the current PDF filings that they submit to their ethics council. This meeting weighed the pros and cons of the requirement and used lessons learned from previous FDS filing years to move forward. Based on our discussion and experience with the CFDS pilot program, it would benefit the confidential filers and Bega to allow all filers to submit forms on the e-filing system. The next steps are to coordinate with Octo on system-specific issues. And the last update is on the lobbying, registration, and reporting, LRR. Third quarter 2022 activity reports were due on Monday, October 17th, 2022. On September 30th, the LRR team sent a reminder notice to 450 lobbyists. In response, registrants and clients reported the following. Activity reports were 465, 9 new registrations, 1 registration renewal, 20 registration terminations, and 21 support tickets. Of the 465 activity reports filed, 2 were over 15 working days late. The registrant and clients were notified and sent fine notices on November 22nd, 2023. Thank you. This concludes the Office of Government Ethics, December 1st, 2022 report.
Thank you, Director Cooks. Are there any questions for Director Cooks? None? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda. That's the public comments. The public was invited to submit comments by 11 a.m. today, and no comments were received for this meeting. Our next item is the executive session. This agenda item is a closed session to discuss ongoing confidential investigations pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575B14, to consult with an attorney to obtain legal advice and to preserve the attorney-client privilege between an attorney and a public body pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575B4A, to discuss personnel matters, including the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, performance evaluation, compensation, discipline, demotion, removal, or resignation of government appointees, employees, or officials pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575B10, to deliberate on a decision in which the Ethics Board will exercise quasi-judicial functions pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575B13, and to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575B2. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that the board enter into executive session. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, no opposition. The time is now 12:39, and we will go into executive session. All right, we are returned from the executive session. It is now 1:38, and we're back on the record. There are no matters to report out. So we are going to conclude this meeting. The next meeting will be held remotely via WebEx on January 5th, 2023 at 12 noon. I'd just like to tell everyone to have a happy and safe holiday, and we will see you in the new year, if not before.
I hope before.
Madam Chair, happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.